Ain't no way it changed the fucking title back again. What the hell? Oh my god. How many times do I gotta... Timothy? Yeah, I'm Not Human is haunting me. Timothy. What's going on? There you go. Copy. Done. Let's go change the title on YouTube now. Apparently that's my fucking thing I have to do every day. You. Here's the title on YouTube. This one. Paste. Save. Okay. Twitch and YouTube should be updated now. I don't know if the category for YouTube is correct, but should be going, I think. What happened with the lunatic? I ended up just like, he kept looping at the end, and then I gave him a chance, and then we kicked him. It didn't go anywhere too special at the end there. Cheers. He did say you're nothing, a lot less. I can keep him calmer. I can get him to be a calm crazy. I'm like the crazy whisperer. Switch the camera over to here. We never quite finished watching this one, so this is part of what we're gonna be watching here. Yeah, I forgot about this too until like I looked at it. Had a brief hour and a half of focusing on talking to an absolute dum-dum instead of thinking about, you know, Donald Trump here. So at least that was nice. All right. Here we go.
Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up.
What's up?
Stand up.
Trademark, how are you?
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank. $60 billion. And she loves,
him and the money.
And
Danny,
she
what's up?
loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him.
Yeah,
He
this
was a
does look
very
like it's like a
very
Dictator of
supportive
the Year
me.
award, really.
And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the President of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in, we would do. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel.
It's like the Israeli version of
Miriam,
like
stand up, please.
Congress or the
She really is. I mean, she loves this country.
like Parliament or whatnot.
She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say.
Even them at this point, their claps have gotten confused on when they should. Even with them gaslighting him repeatedly about with like the claps and the cheering and the laughs, they're like, should we clap right now? Is this cheering
Love
time?
you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I've always stood for the people of this community, and I always will. I'll always be with you. I'm always going to be with you. I guess maybe something could happen to change my mind. Somebody that's really stupid gets into office and wants to do really bad things, but that's about it. We don't think we're going to have that happen. I hope we're not going to have that happen. And this man is a good man right here. These two men are good men right here.
The fuck?
Hey, I have an idea. Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon? Give him a pardon. Come on.
He's begging the president of Israel to give the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Milikowski, a fucking pardon? A pardon for... They are fucking cheering. Hey, Tinkerbell. Oubliette, what's up? Donald Trump just asked the Israeli president to give Benjamin Netanyahu a pardon. That's what you've missed. He was basically like, please, 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 please. All right, now he's clapping for himself. He's clapping for himself.
It's not in the speech, as you probably know. But I happen to like this gentleman right over here, and it just seems to make so much sense. You know, whether we like it or not, this has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. This has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. And cigars and champagne, who the hell cares about that? All right, enough controversy for the day, right? Actually, I don't think it's very controversial. So, you know, I mean, I see so popular. You are a very popular man. You know why? Because you know how to win.
This is sickening. They cheering BB?
Over the past 2 years, I've met many of the families of the Israelis taken hostage and those that were taken hostage. Unbelievable. I've looked into their eyes. I've seen the worst nightmares of their suffering, but I've also seen something else, the beautiful love of the people, the love of people, frankly, that hold things together, the love that gives you the courage to carry on through thousands of years of persecution and repression, and to emerge with the heart of David. It's the heart of David. It's that love that's defeated the enemies of civilization,
what?
built this incredible
Sounds like,
country.
what kind of tier magic item is the Heart of David? It's like a +5 or something? What are we thinking? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Economy and forged one of the
He actually claimed the Heart of David.
That is why it's
He went on he got it from a dungeon.
Address this assembly in your ancient and eternal now capital, Jerusalem. I'm proud to have helped in that regard. This city and this nation stand as living proof that a much brighter future for this entire region is truly within our grasp. For thousands of years, Jerusalem has been a home to Christians, Jews, Muslims, and people of all ethnicities and creeds. This is the holy center of the world's three great Abrahamic faiths. I like that too. Adorned, it's the first time I've seen that word in a while. Adorned with it's a face. I like that too. Adorned, it's the first time I've seen that word in a while. Adorned.
Like, wow, haven't read that on a teleprompter in quite some time. Haven't read that on a teleprompter in quite some time. Let me go back to my reading of the teleprompter.
With their sacred sites.
Hey, Moodaful, what's
and
up?
Alive with their pilgrims and visitors from every corner of the globe. But here between the Western Wall, the Temple Mount, and the hill called Calvary, people of every faith and background live, work, pray, serve, and raise their families side by side, and they do it with love. This example is just one of the modern miracles that Israel has given to the world. And just in closing, the leaders in this chamber know better than anyone else the challenges of this harmony, and it's been easily won. No, it hasn't. It has not been. It's been so tough, but it has
easily won? No, it hasn't.
It's been.
It has been.
Won. No, it hasn't. It has not been.
It has not been.
It's been so tough, but it has been.
Why does he say it like that?
A miracle. What you've done is a miracle. Look at your size. Look at your chances when it all started. And you know, if you think about it, you are safer today, stronger today, and more respected today than at any time in the history of Israel. Think of it. People used to say it wouldn't exist. They don't say that anymore, do they? Yet if safety, security, and coexistence can thrive here in the winding alleys and ancient paths of Jerusalem, then surely peace and respect can flourish among the nations of the broader Middle East.
He's having a hard time reading this teleprompter.
People in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain and conflict, the people of Israel have never given up from the threats of Zionism, from all sorts of threats. You want
Freudian slip?
The people of Israel have never given up from the threats of Zionism, from all sorts of threats. You want
the threats of Zionism?
You want the promise of Zion. You want the promise of success and hope and love and God. And the people of America have never lost faith in the promise of a great and blessed future for all of us. From the very first day that modern Israel was founded, we have stood together
Modern
through
Israel.
thick and thin of
Thick and thin. This man's dying. He's dying.
together through thick and thin
Thin.
of
Give me a second. I almost got it.
and through victory and defeat.
Give me a minute.
Through glory and heartache.
Thin.
We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together, and we have waged war together. And perhaps, most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from
Dude, just stop
Indonesia
saying a
to
bunch
Iraq,
of places.
from Syria to Bahrain,
Oh my God, how long is he gonna
Turkey
fight?
to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just
Made that
saw.
rhyme.
We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger.
Gotta
better,
throw that on there at the end. Bigly
and
huge.
more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you.
Counterspell.
everybody. Good luck. Thank you. very
Counterspell.
much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh God, look at his handshake. He shakes like he's fucking got a limp arm. Alright. What was the one? Is this where
We
JD
begin
Vance
today
gets
with
cut
Vice
off?
President J.D. Vance, who joins us from Cincinnati.
Is this the one where
this
JD Vance
morning.
gets cut off?
Good morning to you, Mr. Vice President.
Good morning, Margaret. Thanks for having me.
We are getting very close to that 72-hour deadline for the hostage release. I think the world is holding its breath here. Is the administration seeing signs that Hamas and Israel are complying with everything they need to and that this will go ahead?
Yes, Margaret. So knock on wood, but we feel very confident the hostages will be released and that the president is actually traveling to the Middle East likely this evening in order to meet them and greet them in person. It's a big day for their families, but I think more importantly, it's a big day for the entire world. The President of the United States set to his entire diplomatic team, especially Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, to go and get a deal done, to stop the war in Gaza, to begin to rebuild Gaza so the population could live there in peace and prosperity, to actually eliminate the threat of terrorism to our friends in Israel, which is very, very important, and also to bring the hostages home alive. It was a very tall task. He pursued a very non-traditional diplomacy with people who were not 40-year diplomats, but people who brought a fresh perspective to it. And of course, the president was criticized for it. The diplomatic team was criticized for it. But I think that because he chose a different pathway, he didn't just do what everybody else in the past had done. We are now on the cusp of a sustainable peace in the Middle East. It's a great moment.
Those are some very ambitious plans in phase 2, in particular, of this deal. Let me ask you about some of the details, because the administration has pledged about 200 U.S. troops from Central Command to be part of implementing this deal. They're not going to be in Gaza, but how long will they be involved here? And more broadly, is the Trump administration fully committed to keeping the pressure on? Because those things you just mentioned aren't going to happen overnight in terms of dismantling Hamas and building towards a stable Gaza.
You're exactly right, Margaret. It is going to take consistent leverage and consistent pressure from the President of the United States on down. I know the President is very committed to doing that. But you asked about the 200 troops from Central Command.
I don't see the full one of him anywhere with...
accurately, these are not troops who are going to be put in Gaza, but they're troops who are already at Central Command. They've been at that base for many, many years. And they're going to help monitor and mediate this peace.
Doing that.
Inevitably, there are going to be conflicts here. There are going to be things
I don't think we have that one.
That the people in Gaza disagree with Israel about, that the Israelis disagree with the Gulf Arab states about. We see our role really as mediating some of those disputes and ensuring that the pressure stays on everybody to achieve a durable and lasting peace. One of the underreported elements of this deal, Margaret, is that the president convinced the entire...
Refresh this real quick.
We begin today with Vice President J.D. Vance, who joined...
This Week with George Stephanopoulos starts right now.
Here it is.
And we're joined now by Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thank you for joining us.
He's wearing the same fucking outfit, too, isn't he?
Yes. This morning, let's start with the Middle East. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Hamas has confirmed they are holding 20 living hostages and that those hostages are going to be released in the next 24 hours, early as today, perhaps. Have 20 living hostages been confirmed? When do you expect to see them?
Well, they've been confirmed, George. Of course, you don't know until you see these people alive, but thank God we expect to see them alive here in the next 24 hours, probably early tomorrow morning, U.S. time, which will be later in the day, of course, in Israel. But look, George, we have to remember this is a remarkable...
There's a new Donald Trump on the plane thing from an hour ago.
Really chose a non-conventional path to diplomacy, and I think that's the major takeaway. The President of the United States instructed Marco Rubio, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff. He said, get a deal done. Talk to the Gulf Arab states. Talk to Israel, find where there's common ground here, and actually let's go and find a way to get it done. And because of that, we are on the cusp of true peace in the Middle East, really for the first time in my lifetime. Certainly, these 20 hostages are going to come home to their families, George. I think this is a great moment for our country. Our country should be proud of our diplomats who made this happen. It's really a great moment for the world, too, which is why the president's going to go over there and celebrate with these hostages. But it's a great thing, and I'm very excited about it.
200 U.S. troops are being sent to Israel to monitor the agreement. What exactly will they be doing? Will they actually go into Gaza?
I never think about Hassan. I don't care.
George, so that story is actually misreported. We already have troops at Central Command. We've had them for decades in this country. They're going to monitor the terms of the ceasefire. And that's everything from ensuring that the Israeli troops are at the agreed upon line, ensuring that Hamas is not attacking innocent Israelis, doing everything that
I'll just do the ban. I'll make it a ban. Makes it easier.
Sustains and endures. But the idea that we're going to have troops on the ground in Gaza,
I don't have to mute him again later.
That is not our intention. That is not our plan. There was a bit of a misreporting there, but we are going to monitor this piece to ensure that it endures. The other piece of good news that's been underreported, I think, George, is that Indonesia and a number of other majority Muslim states, they've actually offered to send ground troops to Gaza to ensure the necessary peacekeeping takes place. That's not something the United States is going to be expected to do. That's something the Muslim world is going to step up and do. And that, again, is because of the Trump administration's diplomacy.
The president has also pushed for National Guard deployments in several American cities. As you know, that's been questioned by several federal judges, including Trump appointees. Also, the Republican governor of Oklahoma and chairman of the National Governors Association, Kevin Stitt. Here's what Governor Stitt said. We believe in the federalist system that states' rights. Oklahomans would lose their mind if Pritzker and Illinois sent troops down to Oklahoma during the Biden administration. How do you respond to Governor Stitt?
Well, I'd say to Governor Stitt, you have to look at what's happening on the ground in Chicago. And the reason why Illinois is a different case from Chicago is because Chicago has been given over to lawlessness and gangs for too long.
What are you talking about?
If you look at the murder rates in Chicago, the violent crime rates, you have women who have young families. They're terrified their kids are going to get killed in a drive-by shooting. We have accepted this for far too long in the United States of America and some of our biggest cities. And Chicago, unfortunately, is the worst. It's a beautiful city. It's got great people. We know the gross majority of the violent crime in that city is committed by a very tiny fraction of the population. why shouldn't federal troops empower the people in Chicago to live safe lives when the governor
Why
and
should
local,
federal
the
troops
local
not
mayor
be
just simply
illegally in
refuse
there
to do their
doing
job?
law
But as
enforcement
you know,
things?
a federal judge, a U.S.
Gee, I
District
wonder.
judge, has blocked the effort to deploy troops in Chicago. And Judge Perry, she actually
Yeah,
said that a
they
lot of
don't
these
care.
claims that
They
were
haven't
made,
looked it
especially
up.
in the court filings, lack credibility.
Well, George, we're obviously going to
He's
litigate
like, well,
this as
I didn't
much
think
as we
you'd
can. We
try
think
and
that
say
we
anything
have
back
the
to me.
authority to provide proper safety to our citizens all over the United States, but particularly in Chicago. But I think for any federal judge or anybody else to look at this situation and say, is it tolerable? And I think the obvious answer, George, is no. The president looks at this situation. He sees the fact that you have multiple people dying of murders every weekend in the city of Chicago, and he says this is intolerable. And it's not just the people who live in Chicago, it's the law enforcement in Chicago, federal, state, and local, who are trying to keep us safe. George, you've seen ICE agents being teed off on in suburban Chicago, in places all over the state of Illinois, and other places too. You see a 1,000% increase in violence against our ICE agents. They're being assaulted,
Also,
they're being beaten,
like
they're
all
being
of our
shot
crime
at.
rate
I think
statistics
all Americans, Democrat or
are
Republican,
made
look
from
at this scenario, we say,
places
this
that
is
have
not
over 1
acceptable.
million
We
people
want
living
people
there.
to be safe. We want
So
our
there are
law
places that
enforcement
have a
officials to
significantly
be
higher crime
empowered
rate than a lot of
to
these other
keep us
cities,
safe. We
but
can
because
do
they don't have
this,
1 million
and that's
people living
exactly
there,
what the Trump administration
it doesn't
is
even get
committed to.
thrown in like the national
Governor Pritzker is our next guest. President
numbers.
Trump has said that he should be in jail. Do you think Governor Pritzker has committed a crime?
Well, I think Governor Pritzker has certainly failed to keep the people of Illinois safe. And it's interesting to me, you know, Governor Pritzker will talk a lot, I'm sure, about how bad Donald Trump is, about how bad I am, and about how bad the administration is. He is the governor of a state that where its biggest city has murder rates that rival the most violent places
Rivals
in the
St.
third
Louis.
world, George. Why is he so
Almost
mad at
rivals
Donald
St.
Trump for
Louis,
trying to
which
keep
we're not doing
Chicagoans
it.
safe? He should be mad at the
fuck
criminals
up.
that he has failed to keep at bay. We're trying to help him, and we're trying to help the residents.
Couldn't
of
even
his
name
biggest
another city.
I wish that he would let us, because he certainly isn't doing the job himself.
I asked if you agree with President Trump that Governor Pritzker has committed a crime.
Ooh.
Well, I think that Governor Pritzker has allowed a lot of people to be killed in the city of Chicago and elsewhere, George. I think that it's disgraceful, and I think that he absolutely should suffer some consequences for the fact that there are thousands of innocent Chicagoans.
JD Vance started doing something real different there when he started answering. He started double blinking. Almost, he started like
We're trying to
repeatedly
help
double
him.
blinking.
We're trying to help the residents of his biggest city. I wish that he would let us.
He's
because he
blinking
certainly
like
isn't doing the job
crazy.
himself.
I asked if you agree with President Trump that Governor Pritzker has committed a crime.
Here we go. Blink, blink.
Well, I
blink.
think that Governor Pritzker has
Blink.
allowed a lot of people to be killed in the city of Chicago and elsewhere, George.
Oh my
I think
God,
it's
dude.
Disgraceful, and I think that he absolutely
something in
should
your eye,
suffer some
JD Vance?
consequences for the fact that there are thousands
This guy's
of
something in his
innocent
peepers.
Chicagoans who are dead because he failed to do his job.
It's really a yes or no question. Do you believe he's committed a crime?
George, you're going to keep on asking this question. I'm going to keep on telling you that Governor Pritzker has failed to do his job. He should suffer some consequences. Whether he's violated a crime, ultimately, I would leave to the courts, but I certainly think that he has violated his fundamental oath of office. That seems pretty criminal to me. I'd leave it to a judge and jury to decide whether he's actually violated the crime.
Let me also
Violated
ask you,
the
as you
crime.
saw, the indictment
That
this
he's
week of
violated the
questions
crime?
of mortgage.
Doesn't JD Vance have like a law degree? Doesn't JD Vance have like a legitimate law degree? This man just said violate a crime.
Fraud. Also, Lisa Cook has been accused by the Trump administration of committing mortgage fraud as well. The journalism
Yale.
outlet ProPublica has actually published a story, and I want to show it up on the screen.
Wow, they
right
did a
now,
good job with him,
that
huh?
says that several members of the Trump administration have faced similar questions. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer entered into 2 primary residence mortgages in quick succession. Transportation
you'd
Secretary
violate the
Sean
law.
Duffy has primary residence mortgages in New Jersey.
You would
and
perpetrate
Washington,
the crime,
D.C.
which would be
Lee
the
Zeldin,
illegal
Environmental
activity. I don't
Protection
know what the
Agency
fuck. He
administrator-
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Administrator has 1 primary residence mortgage in Long Island and another in Washington, D.C.
He's
How do you
noidus.
respond to critics who say that the Trump administration is engaging in a double standard here?
Well, I'd say 2 things, George. First of all,
Come the
ProPublica is
blinks.
basically a left-wing blog. I'm not shocked
Blink, blink.
that you found a left-wing
Blink, blink. He's
blog
giving us
that
Morse
acted
code.
under
It's
the
like
Trump
he's
administration.
giving Morse
Second,
code.
and this is the most important, is what does the law say?
Dot, dot, dot,
Letitia
dash,
James
stop.
was indicted in a
Long.
left-leaning part of
Oh,
our
that's a
country,
pause.
part that voted very heavily against Donald J. Trump, for the crime of mortgage fraud. When I read the indictment, when I read the facts in the case, I see a person who committed mortgage fraud. Now, of course, the jury is going to decide whether she ultimately committed a crime. We don't try her. The administration doesn't try her. A judge tries the case, and the jury decides whether she's ultimately guilty. That is what is going to determine whether she goes to prison. I think we let the facts drive this, and George, that's what we've tried to do in the administration's Department of Justice. We've
That's
asked
true.
those
Yeah,
folks,
his
has
like
the person
everything was
violated
paid
the
for
law?
by
And if that person is
the
violating
Heritage
the law,
Foundation, Peter
then we
Thiel,
decide to
and
prosecute
stuff like
him.
that.
That's what
So
the Department of Justice should
there's a
do.
good chance
It
that
didn't
he
do that
doesn't know
under
any of
Joe
the shit
Biden's
that he's supposed to have for his
administration.
degree.
It does under Donald Trump's.
And
On the
clearly
facts, do you dispute the
violate a crime.
facts that ProPublica reported?
Do I dispute a far-left blog that I haven't read that you brought up in this interview? I have.
Bro, you're not doing any help for yourself, JD Vance. You're really not helping your case here. Do I dispute this far left blog that I didn't read?
No idea, George. I have no idea what they actually said. But I certainly question the source. I question their credibility. And most importantly, I'm not worried about what they said about members of our administration. I ask the question, what does the law say? And if the law says that you engage in mortgage fraud and a local prosecutor, a local grand jury, and finally a jury convicts you of that crime, then that is how the justice system is meant to work in the United States of America.
The White House border czar Tom Homan was recorded on an FBI surveillance tape in September 2024, accepting $50,000 in cash.
Yes, he
Did he keep
was.
that
The
money or
baloney
did he
golem
not?
himself.
George, you've covered the story ad nauseum. Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear. And the reason you guys are going after Tom Homan so aggressively is because he's doing the job of enforcing the law. I think it's really preposterous. I know Tom. I think that he's a good man. He gets death threats. He gets attacked. He gets constantly threatened by people because he has the audacity to want to enforce the country's immigration laws. I think that it would be a much more interesting story about why is it that Tom Homan, who is simply enforcing Americans' immigration laws, is getting constantly harassed and threatened.
Oh, shut
to
the
point of death
fuck
threats.
up.
That's a much more interesting question that I think journalists should focus on. We can agree to disagree on that.
We really need to
You
stop
said he didn't
focusing
take a
so.
bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
George, this story has been covered ad nauseum.
You're not
he
answering.
did not take a bribe. Did he accept $50,000? I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. The question is, did he do something illegal?
Wait,
and
what?
There's absolutely no evidence that Tom Homan has ever taken a
I'm asking a
bribe or
different
done
question.
anything
I'm
illegal,
asking you,
which
did
is
he
why he's
accept-
working in the administration.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000
Yeah.
or not?
Where is it?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape,
Yeah.
accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question.
What do you
Is it
mean you're
illegal
not
to take a payment
understanding
for
the
doing
question?
services?
Thank you for the
FBI
bits.
has not prosecuted him. I've never seen any evidence that he's engaged in criminal wrongdoing. Nobody has accused Tom of violating.
People
a
have
crime. Even the
accused
far left media
violating.
like
He said it again. It's not just him talking incorrectly. He didn't just make a little oopsie. That was not just a little JD oopsie. He does. He just says violating a
yourself. So
crime.
I'm
What is
actually
he
not
talking
sure What
about?
the precise question is? Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that he didn't violate a crime.
He's taking the evil spirits out of me. What the fuck, dude?
So you
How many
don't-
times are you going to
what-
say
what
it?
was caught on the tape? You're saying right now you don't know whether or not he kept that money.
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I
How do you
saw
not know
media
about the tape?
reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and
Oh
why
my
you're losing
God.
credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this
Oh,
story
look at your
regarding
little
Tom Homan, a story
self-importance.
that I've read about, but I don't even know the
You
video
wouldn't
that you're
wanna
talking
talk me
about.
into the Vice
Meanwhile,
President of the
low-income
United
women
States.
can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right
That's
now,
not
we're
true.
trying to
You
figure
shut
out how
it
to
down.
pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government.
You're taking the
You're
money from
focused on
research.
a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question.
Yeah,
Thank
you
for your
refuse
time this morning.
repeatedly.
No,
Illinois
George,
Governor
I
J.B.
said that I
Pritzker's
don't.
up next. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
We're heading to Chicago because
Ooh, fucking RFK back there just. He cut him right off. Cut him right. Does he say
we wanna
anything
save
else?
Chicago. Do you know with President?
Joined now by Vice President Vance. He didn't directly us this morning. And we are joined now by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Governor Pritzker, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you just heard Vice President Vance. He didn't directly answer whether he agreed with President Trump.
He's like, I got someone more important. JB Pritzker's on the line.
Committed a
I
crime.
got someone
What
more important to have a conversation with.
he did say was, it seems pretty criminal.
I'm done with your
to
baby
him, your
babble, JD
behavior.
Vance.
What's your response?
Well, you just heard a tidal wave of lies from the Vice President of the United States.
Oh my God, that's
It's a
great.
bit shocking, and you heard over and over again him just making things up on
Yep.
national television with you. You know, there's a reason why the judge here in federal court said that the administration lacks credibility, and why even the Nobel Prize Committee chair said that the administration lacks integrity. This administration, led by a 34-time convicted felon, is threatening to jail people that are their political opponents. They're making things up to go after people. We're seeing it day in and day out. And the fact that he's made a threat against me, I'm not afraid. I'm going to stand up for the people of my state.
Let's see if you keep to that,
We've
I
got to
hope.
all stand together, because there is truly unconstitutional actions that are coming out of this administration, coming at the states and the people of the United States. And all of us, Democrats and Republicans, need to speak out about it. One thing I'd point out, you mentioned Governor Stitt, who said specifically, like, we shouldn't be federalizing troops in one state and sending them into another, that he would be offended if I had troops going into his state. I am offended that Greg Abbott has troops coming into my state. And even Governor Scott in Vermont has called this unconstitutional. So good news, Republicans are now calling out the Trump administration. More should do so.
As you know, President Trump called for the prosecution of James Comey. It happened. He called for the prosecution of Letitia James, and it happened. He said, you committed a crime. Are you worried the Justice Department is going to come after you?
It's true that the president says things, and sometimes he follows through on those threats, and he certainly has
Is
the
that not a
power of
civil
the
war?
presidency. He does not have the power to overcome the Constitution.
In
And so,
context, it
am
is
I
a civil
afraid?
war.
I am not afraid.
But
Do I think that he
technically, I
could do
guess it depends on
He
what
might.
like the troops do
But
when they get
as
there.
I've said before, come and get
Because
me.
so
I mean,
far,
you're
I
dead
think like
wrong,
the troops
Mr.
haven't
President
really.
and Mr. Vice President.
Like, I don't think they've been
And
allowed to
will
do
stand up for the
anything
law and
for
the
the most
Constitution.
part.
That's what we
The ones
do
that
in
are
the state
placed
of
like
Illinois.
that specifically.
The latest federal judge has allowed troops from Texas to remain in Illinois, but said they can't be deployed in Chicago. What is the situation exactly on the ground
So, like,
right now?
In theory, civil
Well, there are
war.
federalized
Yes.
troops that have been sent here
Battles
from
happening.
Texas.
I
They
mean,
are
if
in
you
a
count ICE,
federal
then sure.
facility. They're
I
not
think that
allowed to
ISIS
come
is like
onto
a war
streets
against
of
the people.
Chicago or our suburbs or anywhere in Illinois, according to the determination of the judge. We have also troops from California, not sent by California, but rather by the president when they were deterred from Oregon. So we've got two states, other states' troops, and of course the Illinois National Guard that's been federalized and under the direction of the President of the United States. None are allowed on the streets of Chicago right now because we've won the temporary restraining order and the appeal.
What happens
of that
when
TRO.
that goes away?
And we
Then
hope
what?
to continue to win. Look, we've got to rely on the courts to do the
What
right
happens
thing.
when you
I
can't?
realize that sometimes that's risky business, especially when some have been appointed by Donald Trump. But we've seen that even a Trump-appointed judge out in California, in the West Coast, has ruled against the administration. So I do think that their oath of office actually matters to them, and that they'll make the right determination.
I think
as you
that
just heard Vice President
Pritzker is
Vance say that
still
those troops are necessary
really
because
hoping that the
under your
court
watch
system
and under
ends
the
up
watch of the
working
mayor
out here.
of Chicago, the streets have been given over to lawlessness. Those are his words.
Yeah, well, you know, they've said that Portland is on
Doesn't
fire.
seem super
Portland
hopeful,
is
though.
not on fire. In Chicago, we've cut the homicide rate in half. We've got double-digit declines in all of our violent crime statistics. He says that we've got the highest crime rate in the entire world. That's ridiculous. We're not even in the top 25 cities in the United States. And Illinois itself is the 19th safest state in the United States. I'd like to be in the top 10, but 19th is a whole heck of a lot better than Texas or Florida.
But if the president invokes the Insurrection Act, there's not much you
I
can do.
love how everyone just like spits on Texas and Florida whenever we go past them in a conversation. They're like, yeah, I like Texas or Florida. Gross.
Well, the Insurrection Act is called the Insurrection Act for a reason.
'Cause there'd
there
have to
has
be an
a
insurrection.
rebellion. There has to be an insurrection in order for him to be allowed to invoke it. Again, he can say anything he wants, but if the Constitution means anything, and I guess we all are questioning that right now, but the courts will make the determination.
True.
If the
Yeah,
Constitution
true.
means anything, the Insurrection Act cannot be invoked to send them in because they want to fight crime. Let me add that they're claiming in court that that's not the reason that they're calling up troops to send them into our states. They're claiming in court that this is about protecting ICE facilities and ICE agents and not about crime on the streets. But then you hear Vice President Vance and the President of the United States contravening that and saying exactly what they actually think. They just want troops on the ground because they want to militarize, especially blue cities in blue states.
Governor Pritzker, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
All right, everybody.
Roundtable's up
Does
next.
anyone
We'll
have
be right
anything bad about Pritzker they could tell me? Because I'm liking Pritzker. I'm liking Pritzker. He seems pretty well. He seems to be well understanding what is happening with Donald Trump, the laws, and the National Guard and things, and this being like kind of a civil war, but like not quite there yet. Talk about the Constitution. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. He's a billionaire. Yeah, right. His family's billionaires, huh? What is it? Like a hotel? Like a hotel chain? Or something? What does his family own? I can't remember. The Hyatt. Really? That's a nice hotel, too. All right. All right, everybody. That is where we're going to end it for tonight. We still have the other thing to watch. We'll watch that like tomorrow or something if we get a chance of Mike Johnson taking the calls on C-SPAN. But it is already almost 11 o'clock, and that's like almost an hour. And with pauses, that would end up being like fucking probably in 2 hours. So, Stoner Chick, good night. Boyo, good night. Dragons, good night. Burbles, good night. Hemingway, good night. Like out of touch kind of supports poor businesses. Like out of touch rich person kind of support. Like that kind of. Cycling, good night. Dahlia, good night. Ray, good night. Stingray, good night. Corey, good night. Maiko, good night. Trademark, good night. Like actually good dude. Oh, that's good. That's good. And good night, Danny. All right, everybody. Good night. See you tomorrow. Tinkerbell, good night. Good night, everyone.